Well, I'll tell you what, if that does not get the blood boiling, not or going, I should say, I don't know what. Makes me just want to get in a rowboat for some reason. Anyway, hi there. Joe Lewis, Battle Rankings Live. I am accompanied by my lovely and talented producer, Ann. Say hi, Ann.
Hi, Ann.
This is Battle Rankings Live, and we are doing basically the Soviets today. World War III Team Yankee, which is the official title. The Soviets, the new book that came out, newish book that came out a couple month ago or something like that. And people,
copy of the book.
Do I have a copy of the book? Do I have a copy of the book? And I've actually played in a tournament with the formation out of this book. And my SME has also, matter of fact, 2 tournaments. So we are going to discuss what we have learned. Let us make the mistakes and give you the wisdom so you can build a better army for tomorrow. A better army for tomorrow? Sure. The thing about battle rankings, it's a little bit different than everyone else. We kind of wait until we don't review the book as soon as it comes out. Just tell you some stats and drop it and move on to the next thing because we're rushed to beat everyone to press. That's not what we're about. We're gamers for gamers. I've heard that one before. And the idea is that we basically digest the book, play it a couple times, and give you our life learned lessons, so that you can hopefully make your game better, build your better army, tell you what kind of worked for us and what did not. But that's what we do here, and we kind of go over the place. So Team Yankee, Flames of War, we have a whole host of things that we're planning to do this year. Before we get into the Soviet book, which, by the way, it's kind of like, just called Soviet, Soviet. It's almost like the White Album, it's just an album, you get the tank on there, and it just is Beatles, this is Soviet, bullets. But before I do that,
No, it's Da.
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 Da. All right, before we get into that, I want to go over something, and then we'll get into the, so just give me some indulgence, and we are going to go into a subject. Pull this up. We are going to talk about January 6th. Yeah. No, I know. You can't see my wife's face, but what happened on January 6th? I'm getting the wave off.
It was the Feast of the Epiphany.
Okay, yes, it was the Feast of the Epiphany. Anything else? Because I don't think it got enough attention. I definitely know it got enough.
It was your show that you did on Soviets. On the Russian thing.
Yes, it was. We did do a show on Soviets, but what else happened on January 6th? And I do think it needs to be discussed.
Okay, what happened on January 6th?
Well, I should give you the year. In 1853 or 1854.
Okay.
Ooh, she's like, woo. Wow, dodge that one. Okay, what happened and by the way, you can help me on why it's what year, okay? So, what happened in 1853 or 54? In January 6th?
I don't know.
Sherlock Holmes' birthday.
Oh my gosh.
See, it's Sherlock Holmes' birthday.
Oh, I knew that.
I know you knew that.
I was sitting there thinking of actual, okay, yeah. It was Sherlock Holmes' birthday. I did know that.
Yeah.
But not officially. I'm sorry. It is, but it's officially unofficially his birthday, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, why can't they nail down the year?
Uh,
Is it because Doyle's he's just goofy?
well, actually, they pretty have nailed it. They have nailed it down to 1854 because he was 60 in one particular story that was named. The year was named. So they know in 19, I think it was 1914, he was 60 years old. So he had to be 50, born in 1854.
Okay, so Sherlock Holmes.
Now, the reason why they chose January 6th is much more nebulous.
Why January 6th?
Because there was a story that takes place on January 6th, and he was on January 7th, and the way he was acting a little hungover. So, so people think that he was out celebrating on January 6th, which would only be because it was his birthday. So, I mean, I'm serious. That's the reason why.
Oh, okay. But he abused opiates.
Yes, he did abuse. Yeah. He took a 7% solution of cocaine. But this is a fictional character we're all talking about here. But
I know, but why do I bring this up?
Why do you bring it up?
It'll all tie in. Just work with me, folks. It'll all tie in with what's going on.
Okay.
So, the thing is, yes, it's a fictional character, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, did you know that one of the first fandoms
was Sherlock Holmes fandom? Yes, I did know that.
Yeah, I know you know that, but I was wondering if the audience knew that.
Yes.
And it's like, okay, so the first fandom. Yeah, the first fandom, I think it started organizing in the 19-teens, but it wasn't until the 1930s that it actually started getting a little bit more organized and had some adults behind it. And by 1940, there was an organization that is probably the oldest organization of fandom anywhere. That is, and it's pretty professional now, and they call themselves
the Baker Street Irregulars.
The Baker Street Irregulars. Now, those are a set of cast of characters in a bunch of Sherlock Holmes stories. Mm-hmm. But what they do is this group refers to themselves as the Baker Street Irregulars. And it's a invitation-only club, and it has quite the cast of characters. There it is, Sherlock Holmes' birthday. So forward to there. And actually, you don't see the screen, do you?
No, I don't right now.
Okay.
Sorry.
Yeah, I'm trying. Who was the?
Let me.
Yeah, who's
I
the
would
actor?
I would look over your shoulder, but I want the camera to.
Well, you can see right. You just look right there. Who is that?
Oh, that's Basil Rathbone.
Basil Rathbone. Yeah. Okay. Right. So yeah, he did a lot of Sherlock Holmes, and he had that whole pipe thing going. But there's the 1940 dinner. Did you know that?
Yes, I did know that.
And this is
pretty big from it. It was originally founded in 1934, I think.
Yeah, 1934, right.
Right, but the
first dinner.
The first big dinner was 1940, yes.
Right. Now, this is where I'm going to tie it in right here. This gentleman right here, that one, mm-hmm. His name is Fletcher Pratt.
Fletcher Pratt.
Yep. And Fletcher Pratt created a war game, the naval war game.
I did know this. Yes.
Yes.
I knew about Fletcher Pratt. Yeah.
Yeah, I knew about Fletcher Pratt because I played him I played this game a long time ago. This game really, it doesn't have any dice. It's all pretty much you put the little ships on the floor, and then you say, okay, I got 6 guns. I'm going to go out towards my target. 83 inches. Walk it back 1 inch. And what you do is you use golf tees, and a referee will come in and measure all your splashes using the golf tees. And then eventually what you do is you range in, because this is, you got to remember the time. This is before radar and stuff. And if you score hits, you do damage based on your type of gun. They played this in the Naval War College. All right. But Fletcher Pratt mm-hmm. was a kind of a main founding, get it really going Sherlock Holmes group.
He was big, yeah.
Yeah,
initial member of the BSI.
Initial member. Mm-hmm. So there's our wargaming enter. But the
I'm
thing
sure he
is,
was not the only war gamer in that group too.
no, I bet. Well, H.G. Wells.
No, I don't think he was. No, I don't think he was.
Okay. But yeah, there was a lot of war gamers that were involved. But kind of a this to note, this was kind of a men's only club until what 1991.
Something like that, yeah.
So 1991, it became yeah, they let ladies start tending the dinner.
Mm-hmm.
But that's the big to do is the dinner and everything. And what happened was that the people would come on in, and
It's invitation.
it's invitation only, so you have to be invited to be a member. Um, and one of the ways you get in is that you have to move the genre somehow.
Yeah,
So,
you have to move the fandom of Sherlock Holmes forward somehow.
right.
Yeah.
And the movement, like for example, say a writer or a director or an actor, something or write scholarly papers on Sherlock Holmes.
Yeah.
And over time, if you do this and you raise it to a certain level, you get an invitation. Well, anyway, this is the first year they did not actually have a physical dinner because of COVID, because they meet in New York City.
And a lot of the members are really old.
Oh, right. Well, because
not all of them. I mean, there's a number of not new ones that are younger, but you have some really old fellows. And
you're most established because by the time you kind of qualify for this, you're established. You're established somehow, right? Yeah. So
and there's some really fascinating people who are members of this.
I'm sure there are.
Isaac Asimov was a member. Paul Anderson was a member. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is a member currently. Also Booger, if you guys remember Booger from Revenge of the Nerds, he's a member right now too. There's a lot of authors and stuff. Yeah.
Right. So, but they had the dinner.
Oh, Nicholas Meyer, who wrote Star Trek 2 and directed Star Trek 2.
All right, hold that thought.
God! Sorry.
Yeah, because you wrote what was it, the
7% Solution.
7% Solution. Yeah, he also wrote Time After Time.
Mm-hmm.
There's a little H.G. Wells in
there. Okay.
But anyway, so the thing I'm getting to is that people who are in the genre but not members also get invited to the dinner. Now, when was your first dinner?
Gosh, about 6 years ago.
So
6 or 7 years.
6 or 7 years ago, you were at dinner, and you've pretty much been going every year.
Mm-hmm.
And well, this is the first year that they couldn't get together, but they had a virtual dinner
meeting.
A virtual meeting.
Yeah, basically.
And so they had a meeting, and they conducted business. And at the end, they introduced their what's it called when they introduce people?
They what you call them about investitures?
Investitures is what they call
investiture. Investiture, yeah.
Right.
You are invested in the Baker Street Regulars.
Right, and they hand you a shilling.
Yes.
As a total. Is that what?
That's how he paid the Baker Street Regulars.
So that's how you would pay him. So you get your shilling, and you'd become a Baker Street Regular.
Right.
Well, there is a new member of the Baker Street Irregulars, and her name is Ann Lewis. Ann is now a Baker Street Irregular. She's been rubbing elbows with the high and mighty and the fancy and the powerful. Anyway, so they made her official member this year. So congratulations, Ann.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. If you're,
I didn't expect you to go this route.
I know, but by the way, here's a dinner. The last photo I got, so you can see this motley crew. And I found you in this photo.
You found me? Yeah.
You're right back here. You're right here. Oh, hon. There's the mouse. Hold on. Actually, because the mouse doesn't. Oh, you're right behind this. You're right there. That's you. Not that they can see you, but where the mouse is, there she is.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Anyway, so she's in this picture. Yeah, and that was from 2 years ago. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh no, 2017 is the last photo they have on the site. So there you go. And if you're wondering how Anne did this, she these are two novels she has written. Murder in the Vatican, which is the Church Mysteries of Sherlock Holmes, and the Watson Chronicles, a Sherlock Holmes novel and short stories.
Okay.
Are,
Yes.
are you embarrassed a little?
I'm a little embarrassed. Yes,
No,
I can't
no,
believe
don't
it.
be so.
This has nothing to do with your game.
No, but you are a member of the staff, and we celebrate victories. You know, we celebrate. You know what? You know who you want to be friends with? Someone that you can tell bad news to,
Hmm.
and they will listen.
Okay.
Also, those same people, if you tell them good news, they want to celebrate with you.
Okay. All right.
Okay?
Okay.
That's how you know you have good friends.
All right.
All right? So basically, we're friends here, and we're going to celebrate. Yay!
Okay. Yay! All right.
So now the thing is, she's also written scholarly papers.
Mm-hmm.
And you wrote one particularly with music.
Yes. Two of them, actually.
Okay, and they both have to do with this, what is it?
The polyphonic motets of Lassus.
I can't even say the
Polyphonic
motets
of Lassus.
Lassus. Now, Lassus is a guy.
Is a composer.
Is a composer.
Yes.
Right, and you wrote, because Sherlock Holmes made some comment about it.
Yes, that he was studying the polyphonic motets of Lassus.
And
so I had to explain what they were, why they weren't that esoteric, why it was important, and that sort of thing. So yes, I did. I kind of expounded on that particular little tidbit.
yes. Now, since day one of the Baker Street Irregulars, way back when you became a member, you got yourself a street name, right? Well, what they call it? It's not a street name. It's something else.
Well, when I become a Baker Street regular, they give you a name.
Yes, they give you a name, and your name is
the polyphonic motets of Lassus.
Polyphonic
motets of Lassus.
Yes, there it is. So anyway,
they named me for the stuff I wrote.
All right.
Woohoo!
So
Yay!
Both of these
it is awesome, but it's cool.
Yeah, it is cool.
All right.
Yeah, well earned, well earned. By the way, these two books are out there for sale.
Go to wessexpress.com. They're not really available on Amazon so much anymore.
Right. Yeah, well, yeah. Wessex, what?
Wessex.
Wessex?
WESSEX.com. Sorry, what? Wessex Press. I can't even talk tonight. WessexPress.com. Thank you very much. I finally said it. It's hard to say. I'm having a hard time too. Anyway.
By the way, you could look up Anne Margaret Lewis. By the way, there's another Anne Margaret out there that does children's books.
It's not me.
Don't confuse the two. She does children's books and that kind of stuff. Anne does the Sherlock Holmes
and space opera.
Which, by the way, yes, pre-orders for Anne's novel.
Oh gosh.
Which come the pre-orders for the 19th. Oh, we don't remote. We don't make money or anything off this, but you might as well. Hey, Anne wrote a novel, and she sold it. It's one of three. Number two's, you're wrapping up number two.
I'm working on number 2 right now.
So number one's coming out. It's I have a hard time saying these guys' names. Nephilim Corruption.
Yeah.
It's the War of Kazan. No.
Well, Warrior Kazan.
Kazan book. This is book 1.
Yeah, it's space opera, guys.
Yes, it is space opera. No, it's not smut or anything. It's straight to space opera.
Big ass guy with big ass sword running through space. It's fun.
Yeah. So lasers and spaceships and
princesses being kidnapped.
Just good fun. So anyway, that pre-orders start now. That will be available on Amazon.
That will be on Amazon, yes.
So,
January 19th. Right now, it's available on silverempire.org. So
silverempire.org. So there you go. Thank you for the indulgence, but I thought I'd share some good news. Two things. Ann is a full-fledged member of the Baker Street Irregulars. And Eric asked if it was available in audio, and the answer is yes. And it was narrated by
Ken Dickinson.
Ken Dickinson.
He does a video blog called Kelp Can Cook. You'll find him on YouTube. He's actually pretty good.
Yeah, he's a funny guy.
He's a very funny guy.
Right.
Yeah.
And he did some like D&D type skits.
Yes, he did. He did D&D. Yeah.
D&D type skits that
but he is out in Hollywood trying to get work. So.
Yeah. So yes, the first book is on audio. All right. So congratulations.
But I'm not sure the audio will release with the ebook and print book. It'll probably be a little bit later than that. So we have some editing to do to it. So. All right.
All right. All right. Well, the matter at hand. Right. Let's talk Soviets.
Soviets, finally.
Finally. So
get off me. I'm not even a producer, right?
Yeah. But it is good news, and let's bring John Meyer, who is our SME. Say hi, John.
Hello, guys. How's it going?
It goes. Thank you for being patient. Well, first of all, let's talk about. I played one tournament with the Soviet list out of the book, and you've played two, right?
That is correct.
Now, I think you're in the same boat as I was in the first tournament. It didn't,
It was trying it out to find if the list I had didn't really work that well compared to what I thought would have happened.
Okay, but your second, wait a minute, your second list, you didn't play Soviets.
But everybody, I did play another tournament with a Soviet list, but it was right after the book came out, and it was just a small local tournament between me and some of my guys who live around my town. But I played a Soviet list against them, and that's the same list I brought to the tournament me and you played with.
Yep. I guess let's talk about what's in the book. Then we can talk about our list. The book. I some screen grabs here. First of all, there's the formations that are in the book. Basically, the tank formations are T-80s, T-64s, T-72s, T-62Ms, and T-55Ms. And then your infantry is various BMP, 1, 2s, and 3s, the BTR-60s, the Afghan air, and the last, which is really the different of any other book, is the Shock, the T-80 Shock Company.
Okay.
All right, yeah, Shock.
Shocking.
Shocking on. Actually, I think the Soviets invented shock. And then there's your formation support. So what I did, I took the privilege of breaking out what was brand new in this book versus the Red Thunder book. So it's one of these things. If you're going to choose a book, choose the Soviet book.
Oops, sorry.
Yeah. Well,
I accidentally hit something in it. Sorry. Go ahead.
Well, you know what? It wouldn't be an audio cast without you hitting the audio. I mean,
sorry.
It has to be part of it. We need Sherman up here too at some point. Okay, so if you're going to do the two books, do the Soviet book. Pretty much, you got what was in the Red Thunder book. Okay, and what's different in this book versus the other is first of all is the T-80. which is pretty good because it's more of a it's a definitely a beefier tank than the 64 and the 72 and the rest of them. Uh, the T-55, which I believe was an Oil Wars. Am I right? Is that an Oil Wars at the end?
I believe it was in the T-62 came with the Oil Wars. And the T-55 is a new tank that came.
Really? Yeah, I gotta take a look. Oh yeah, it's a T-62. Yeah, so the T-55 is France making new. Thanks, John. Um, that's new in it. So basically, this is the opposite way of the T-80. The T-80 was more awesomeness. The T-55 is less awesome, more mediocre. And what else we got in here? Oh, the BMP3s. You can have a scout platoon um, or with the infantry. It's kind of got this killer gun. Um, yeah, by the way, the missile doesn't shoot through the barrel, does it? I'm trying to figure out how they shoot that missile. But anyway, that I probably should have done a little bit of research before this. But the next thing that's in there is this bad boy, the TOS one. Basically, it's a T-72 Hall with this rocket launcher thing on it. Um, check this out. I found this picture. Yeah, I do not want be on the receiving end of that. Could you imagine the noise? You know, that'd be insane, wouldn't it?
I
Well,
could hear it popping just looking at it.
yeah. Then then there was this guy. They added this guy. This is the BM-27 Hurricane. By the way, every time I hear this, I want to do Scorps rock me like a hurricane. And by the way, this really floated my boat. If you remember the West Germans, yeah, I got excited over this piece. This is the 2S6. How do you pronounce that? Tunskin or
Augusta, or
yeah.
that's my best guess.
So it's anti-air, but it has these I don't know 30 millimeter guns, I believe. Um, so the Chris Chris says don't imagine you can see it TOS in action. Okay, there is there's a problem with audio when you're watching this stuff. You really don't get the full effect. And there was um, um, there's a guy who invented this surround sound, tried to get you in the audio as if you were there, and they did it for a one of those SpaceX launches. So you heard the launch, and you had to do it with your headphones on, and it was, I mean, it brought audio to a new level. So I got really good headphones, listened to it, and you could feel the rumble of the rocket that was more than like 6 or 7 miles away. And then when the boosters came back down, you could actually hear the multiple shock waves from it decelerating from Mach to regular speed as it lands, and you just hear that boom, 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 and it was like it was rattling your brain. You're like, oh man, that is so cool. I wish they would, you're going to see this audio technology in games at some point because it's really immersive. But it's like, I think that's where audio is going to go. So there's this tech out there that's pretty cool. God, I can't remember if I saw that. It was one of those science shows. I'm, you know, a nerd, so I watch science shows for and other things like that. Well, anyway, beside the point. But yeah, because when you hear it, you want because there's one thing about uh, being there. Okay, uh, I went to a truck and tractor pull. Listening to it on YouTube is one thing, but actually listening to two V12 engines, full power, pulling tons of weight, um, the shock concussion from the horsepower uh, is going through you. Because and by the way, I'm not next to it. I'm away from it. But the power of that engine, you're like, my God, you just feel that power. That's things like that. That's immersive stuff that will bring you in. I think when they do that to chairs, they put in bass in chairs now for games. But anyway, I digress. All right, let's move on. So anyway, so there's this, and I'm really excited about this because it could shoot. It's got missiles, and mine did okay. But so one of the questions came up is that this thing has missiles that shoot and the guns that shoot. So if you shoot your missiles at aircraft during the opponent's turn, can you shoot the guns in your turn, the next turn? Normally, because it's like if you had a tank and you shot the machine gun on top at aircraft or a helicopter, you could still fire the main gun at something else. So I'm kind of you know interested in how that's going to work out. But anyway, let's let's look at the T-80 platoon. Um, I've been doing a lot, Gavin. John, what's your thoughts on the T-80?
Well, I like it. I like the point price, and it's the one Soviet tank, that can't be destroyed from a Milan spam. The only thing I don't like is the rate of fire. I would like it if it was a halted rate of fire of 2 and a moving rate of fire of 1, but it's still a good tank, and I haven't used it yet. But everybody who's used it against me has I've had a really hard time dealing with even a platoon of 4. I don't know about taking the formation of them, but I definitely take them as support because they're really hard to deal with, especially if you keep anti-aircraft or the AA near them, and then the only thing it's going to be hard to take them out with aircraft, and then you only have to really worry about tow twos, but even then you can easily save yourself, do armor saves. I think they're really good for
Yeah,
the price.
right. I don't know how many points you need to be playing if you're going to do a formation, but I was using them as support, and I had 4 of them, and they're pretty darn awesome. Um, yeah, I never lost the platoon. I did lose units, but I never lost the platoon or the platoons. The platoons were never in jeopardy, and they took out a lot. Um, the I was hit by tow twos. I made a save and failed a save, but at least I had a chance for a save.
Yeah.
That is what I really like. Um, the By the way, I had normal, the regular T-80s, not the shot, which I know it has totally different hit on 4s and stuff. It's got different skill, but yeah, I really like them. It's just a support, like 4 of them. It really makes your opponent really think about what they're going to do. And in my first game with them, the T-80s pushed one objective, and everything else pushed the other objective, and he had to throw so much at the T-80s that it really suffered on the other one. That's where the one well, actually, I was close to capturing both objectives, but anyway, I digress. But no, I really like these guys, and the fact that, like Scott says here, a 50% chance bouncing a tow two, which is better than no chance with any other tank. I like that. So that's pretty good.
Yeah, to answer Dan Neal's question he had there about recommending a regular T80 or the shock version,
Right.
uh, I'd recommend the regular T80 because it's cheaper. You can bring more of them, and it's if you get hit, you still have a chance to save, which most other tanks don't. And it's still a front armor of 20, which is really good. The shock version is okay, but I don't think it's worth the points.
Yeah, and you only get three.
Yeah, and taking a formation of them, you only take it for the infantry, and even then, you lose so much stuff that it's not good for a tournament wise, but for like a pickup game, it'd be fun. But I'd recommend the regular T80s over the shock T80s.
Yeah, ditto. Yeah, the regular. Especially, yeah, because you can have so much more of everything. Well, now the thing about the tank platoon in the book is that all the first tank platoons. Uh, hey, Dan, no problem. The the T64 and the 72 all have the same pattern. So it's like basically take this formation, just change the tank 64 or whatever, or 72, and then you get the same options. Which, by the way, the options are you can get the BMP3s, the BMP3 Scout, and you get the pretty really cool the AA, which I highly recommend. Four models, 8 points, lots of fire. That's just me. I just like it. Anything where an infantryman has to like really watch where they're standing because shells are going to come flying out and hit him in the head. That is a cool weapon system, if you ask me. So, just saying.
Yep.
Yeah, I actually seen one of these, the Soviet tank thing. They were like ejecting things out the back, and there's some guy behind the tank as it's moving forward and it's shooting, and all of a sudden, like the shell casing comes out and like hits him in the head. you know, oops, a little too close there, Ivan. But anyway, so okay, so but yes, the T80 is definitely a support option. Highly recommended. And you know what's also cool? What also is really cool, as I delve into my things here, is that it's a really great looking model. So, actually, probably what I should do is.
You tell him I wanted you to take one of those tanks and turn it into
a Christmas ornament.
Christmas ornament.
Oh, yeah.
Visitor.
Yeah, I see that. So, oh, here he comes. Yeah, I'll make room. Actually, we should have cat music as he comes on in.
Cat music?
Yeah. Anyway, so there's Sherman, and there goes Sherman.
He's going to come sit on me now.
Well, right. He's coming. I don't know where he's going. Hey, rat. Hey, rat. Hey,
rat.
Well, Ray and cat. Anyway, rat. Hey, rat. Feed your K.
Feed your cat.
Feed your cat. All right, come over here and start gnawing our faces off. All right, cat. All right, silly felines. All right, back to seriousness. Okay, let's talk about now. What's a little bit different is that your T62Ms and T65s have less options. So they don't have the full MP and the threes, the bump threes, or the AA, which, by the way, it's like, uh, why take the formation? I mean, the tanks are cheap, but why take the formation? I was talking about, well, we'll go and list and talk about listed, Judge. I was looking at these. It's a 14 front, 21 gun. It's basically it's a cheap, it's a cheap tank to get out a lot of fire, a lot of firepower. I think what's it, 5 for 10 or something like that. 10 points, 5 tanks. Sounds about right. Um, so this is a good thing to supplement everything else, because if something pops its head out, that's not a T80. This thing's gonna do some damage. So that's pretty cool, and you can get a lot of it out there. Of course, it can't take the same hit it can dish out, so that's kind of the problem with those things. But the formation stuff, there's less of it. Um, you know, you see anything in this formation other than the fact that you can support something else with it, excite you?
I would just take it as, or like if you're only doing one formation, you can technically use it as because you get the BTR 60 rifle company, which I like to take. So for me, it's a good cheap formation or a secondary formation. Or if you want to take a lot of support, it'd be a good formation if you put a lot of stuff in reserve. But I wouldn't take it as a main formation unless you had nothing else. Or if it was a small point tournament, I would do it as a main formation. But
Okay. What else have we got here? Oh, yes. Okay. This is the BMP. I think this is, for me, this is probably the formation to take because you get so much. Uh, you get your bumps, one, twos, or threes, whatever you like. Plus, you get tank options. I mean, just basically, it's like I don't know, it's like Christmas time, and you go into one of those shops and buy like a sausage kit, get the summer sausage and winter sausage and fall sausage and what else do you get in there? Oh, like mustard and some cheeses, everything you want in a gift box. And this is like the perfect little gift box. Yeah, are they into it? I don't know, but someone in that house probably is. Get that gift box. And that is what this formation is. It's pretty much everything wrapped up in a nice little bow that you would want in a formation. I don't know. Did I sum it up right?
yeah, I would say so because you make your headquarters a BMP 1 to make it cheap. Bring nothing but BMP 3, rifle company, and your T80 support is formation now because you can take it as a formation, and you got all the options for anything you could possibly want is built into the formation. So it makes a really strong, you know, unbreakable formation that's going to be really hard for most people to try to take out.
Yeah, and you get the that 2S6 AA, yeah, which by the way, I don't know if you I have a theme. I really like it. Why do I like it? It's an AT10, and someone comes up with like this formation, and you get in the right spot, you can just blow away BMPs with it. Except the threes, it's not guaranteed, which we probably should talk about. Well, that's why I brought it out here. So, what makes the BMP 1 and 2 different from the 3, or vice versa? What makes the 3 different from the 1 and 2?
Well, you can move and shoot with your missile, so it makes it its own glass cannon. So I put it above the T62 at that point because it has the same gun or the same and a tank, just a little different firepower. It has the brutal cannon, which you can use against infantry that are dug in. It has a laser rangefinder and a stabilizer, so you can move up to 14 inches tactically, and still shoot at infantry. It has the 30 millimeter cannon, so that's good against taking out. Well, the BMP-2 also has that, but it's good for taking out other vehicles like other transport vehicles,
Mhm.
and then it still has machine guns. So like it has almost everything except for anti-aircraft fire.
Yeah, yeah. I was looking there. Without the anti-fire, it's basically instead of really like a kitchen sink, it's more of a one of those one tub sinks instead of the two tubs.
Yep.
Uh,
I think it's extremely playable just because you can move and shoot your missile, and that makes any heavy tank think twice about getting near you, because it used to be the BMP-2s had to move, wait, and then shoot because they couldn't move and shoot their missile, and so these you can easily get a side shot on an Abrams without having to take a tank formation.
yeah, right. Because oh yeah, because but the missile's not stabilized. You only have that 10
Yeah.
move. Which, by the way, still the move shoot missile is pretty good. Which, by the way, that was my question earlier. Is the missile fire through the barrel system? I've seen that some places. Um, I don't know.
I couldn't.
Yeah, because that would make sense. But the thing is, where is the 30? I know the barrel. Hold on, let's. There it is. So this is the main gun, right? What? That's the main gun right there.
Yeah, that's the brutal gun, and then
No.
the one right next to it, that's the AT-10 gun that you use for anti vehicles. But I couldn't. I think they might shoot the missile out of the main gun. I honestly couldn't tell you. Yeah, the 100 millimeter tube.
Okay, so Chris is saying through the main. That makes sense. Oh, it's a 23 millimeter. Oh, that is that the other gun? So go back to that. There it is. 30, 100. I don't know. Do I hear 23, 23? Oh, okay. But no, that's pretty cool. Um, it's a it's a 23. It's an auto cannon. All right. So now the thing is, let's talk about this. So because of you know, what's the reserves where you can't have
Oh, deep reserve.
deep reserves, right? So this is the thing. I remember this whole discussion about when the Warriors came out, because I think the Warriors are also a 5,
Yes, if you
right?
upgrade.
So they're like, well, because they come with the infantry, you couldn't have the infantry out there in deep reserves and have the transports. I, I guess that was the talk that you'd have to lose the transports for the infantry to start.
Well, another thing you could do is you can downgrade your HQ and one platoon of infantry to BMP-2s, and have one platoon out there that is a BMP-3, and maybe a third infantry platoon that's a BMP-3 in reserve, depending on how you want to build your force.
Okay.
If you want two infantry to start out, you might have to downgrade one to a BMP-2, but I'd still give you at least a platoon out with BMP-3s if you're playing defensive with Russians.
Right. Yeah, if you want to go defensive, which, um, yeah, I don't think this is a really good game to go defensive. Uh, I don't know. Maybe that's a debate itself. But that's the same thing. But the same thing with this gun. It's a front 5, so you have to worry about the reserves. So if you're running a whole company of these, yeah, never pick defend. You want to be attack or maneuver, because if you pick defend, you can end up in a deep reserve situation, and not good. Uh, so that's the MVP. So and plus you get all the really good, and basically you can mix and match these things. And I think the last thing, which is the now of all the books, this is the most different. It's the most unique, which is the shock. The thing is, they have a skill 3, um, and they're hit on 4s. Now we're talking about a totally different animal now. So these are almost like American type. Actually, I think most Americans are they hit on 4s with their skill 4, right?
Yeah, all their courage is wait, everything's a 4, regardless, and everything except for like the new like heavy attack company, light attack company, and the new infantry like Humvee are all skill 3. Like the ninth, I can't remember exactly what they are, but they're all skill 3. But everything is 4 across the board for their courage.
Yeah, the sad thing about it is you can't get that too many because you don't have enough shots. That's the unfortunately about the weapon system. It's just not enough, especially for something that's on an auto loader. I mean, because it just doesn't load fast enough. By the way, the BMP shock is similar, where you are hit on 4s and skill 3, but everything else around it is normal Soviet stuff. Um, this, by the way, the only way you really want to play this is if you went and picked up um, the starter set and a couple minor items. You can get into Soviets real quick and play this, and get it painted on the table really quick, as compared to the Cecil DeMille film of cast of thousands, of infantry. They have to paint for all that. You can pretty much get in pretty quick with just this, and then expand as you learn to play the game. Something to think about, especially since the starter box is basically this. Um, yeah, and you only need what, 3, 6, 7 tanks
Yeah,
maximum.
seven tanks runs you 70 points, so you're pretty much maxed out. Especially if you take the BMP shock rifle, then you got like maybe enough points for a recon and AA.
What more
And
do you What more do you need? All right. So that's pretty much the formation. So let's talk about what we ran. Um, you want to talk? So I went to a tournament that you ran and you were playing in. You want to talk about what was your list?
yeah, so I had the new T-55, the Russian one, because you don't have the slow firing cannon, and I thought running had 21 T-55s, and I had BMP 3, um, huge platoon, and I had a BTR 60 platoon, and I had 4 things of artillery. So I had the TOS ones, I had the Carnations, I had the Hales, and I had the Arcatias. And the TOSs did good my first game because it took out almost 2 entire platoons of infantry in the first turn. And after that, I could never range any of my artillery in because half the games I had, either they went where my templates weren't, and then as soon as you try to range in, it's extremely hard even with an observer on a 5+ because most of them hide in terrain, and it's hard to range in. And at that point, I don't think they're worth the points. It's probably good not to take as much artillery as I did, and I would take the TOSs and maybe the Hales. That way, I could bring it's something cheap that I can bring an observer with. But it's good to keep them off the objective if you're attacking, because I know, except for my first game, everybody did not deploy where I had. And
No, you there, John? Kind of losing John. All right, while we wait for John to come back, I'll tell you what I ran.
Did he like blip off or something?
Yeah, I think he booked off. Yeah. So, oh, you back, John?
yeah, I'm back.
There you go.
What was the last thing you heard?
Something about crying because your artillery didn't range in.
Yeah, so I wouldn't take as much artillery as I did. I'd probably drop 2 platoons of the artillery and only have the Hales and the TOSs, because it's 2 salvo templates and nobody really wants to deploy on a salvo template. So that keeps them away. And those 10 other points, I'd put into something else. And I'd probably just run the BMP formation instead of the T-55s, because I didn't think they were worth the points. Yeah, 7 points got me 5, but I'd rather put them into BMP3s, because at least they can kill tanks from the front if I have to. And I think they're the better glass cannon, because even with the 14 armor, I wasn't really killing anything. And they don't have brutal on the gun, where the BMP3 does. So I'd rather run more BMP3s. And I would highly recommend taking the new RPG upgrade. A lot of people I played against that were also playing Soviets did not take that upgrade. And when they found out that it's an HE-19 with a firepower of a 2+, like, I had a guy with M60s facing me, and I killed his tanks from the front by just shooting at him, because he just parked in front of me within range of my new RPGs, and I killed him from the front. So he learned pretty quick to think again about the RPGs, and a lot of people didn't take them because they thought they weren't worth the points. But if an Abrams is attacking you, you have a really good chance of killing it or bailing it, because they have a 50% chance of rolling a 3 or below. A 3 or below gets you a bail, or the 3 gets you the bail. 1 or 2, you have a 2-up firepower, so you kill them in the assault. So that makes anybody assaulting you with heavy tanks think twice about it.
Yeah, just for those, this is a template. So the outside edge is your salvo, and the normal artillery is the inside here. So there's the salvo, salvo, whole thing. Yeah. So the TOS, this is the area, and unfortunately, I was only attacking in one game, so I got to place this down the objective. Yeah, there was nothing on the objective. That's what that's awesome. I'm gonna put that boom right on the objective, and then the guy sets up and he's like all the way around it. Doesn't want to be underneath that. All right, so I pulled up my list here. So I ran a BMP2 company, and with the T80 in support, BMP2 Recon, the AA that I was loving, and then I ran 4 things of artillery: the TOS, the Arcadia, Hurricane, and a Carnation. I also did have 4 Hinds, regular Hinds. I was underwhelmed. I was thinking that the Soviet, they had all this awesome artillery, and I could bring it to bear, and it just did not happen. Just trying to, because most of my opponents were mobile and kept moving, so every time you had to range in, it basically, you're rolling a 6, because this template's so large, it's going to cover something on the table. So, you're trying to find a 6 to range it in. You're like, oh, why the heck did I bring this thing? I did have one awesome turn. and I was playing Rich. And I know Rich is on here, and Rich was just aggressive all out. Uh, he was pushing for my objective. In fact, we played. Was it a counter? Yeah, we were playing a counter. He just pushed for the objective, and it was looking bad. I mean, because his all his lights, his Abrams were off table. I was just facing all his light stuff, and it just tore up my BMP2s. He was having his way with my infantry. And he you know what, John? He disrespected the artillery. He disrespected it.
Yeah, I got a good story for about Rich when I played him next. But go ahead and finish your.
He says my dice were incredible. Yes, they were, but you were disrespecting that artillery until one turn. The first artillery template, boom, I rolled a 6. Second artillery template, ranging in, rolled a 6. The third artillery template came down, rolled a 6. It was like, yeah, the beast baby. 6 anyway. Yeah, when we were done, there was like, I don't know, maybe 10, 12, 14 vehicles all smoldering. Half the infantry was gone. That offensive was done, and from there he backed up. But yeah, that basically just laying waste the entire land there. He pretty much was like, oof. That was the end of that offense, and unfortunately, for me to get my offensive going, it was too late in the game. Yeah, Rich says I almost cried. That saved you. It did, because you know why? Because you disrespected the artillery.
Yeah, see, after your game, he learned his lesson about that artillery. I had almost the same thing you did. So I picked attack, and he picked, I think it was maneuver or something like that, and we ended up with a breakthrough. And he picked the two edges where there was wood, so I had to play everything out in the open. And so all my artillery is just sitting out there in the open. So it wasn't too good to begin with. And then it hurt because he got his Abrams on the first turn, and then he got his M60s on the second turn, and then he got his that was his entire reserve. So all his stuff was on in the first two turns, and he turned my assault wave into. I went from having 21 T-55s to having 3 T-55s by the start of turn 3, and that was my main formation. So, and then he ambushed his LAV ADs and took out an entire infantry platoon that was attached to the T-55. So I'm sitting there running around trying to make last stands. And instead of going for my tanks, he goes for the artillery. Because I was trying to keep those guys alive to keep in the game, and he left those alone and made sure he took out every single one of my artillery. And I thought, I don't know, I wonder why.
You know what? Because he played you after me, and he was not disrespecting the artillery.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what he's like. I know these guys. I know this game. That's what happened. Sorry about that.
Yeah, but he had a good time. I can tell.
Yeah, yeah. He's like, yes, die, die, artillery, die. Yeah. He's like, yeah, fly, my pretties.
Stop, Joe.
Okay. Well, no, I just don't see Rich cackling while he was doing it. Inside he was, right, Rich?
Yeah. He was so happy he wasn't rolling ones that he could barely hold that excitement back. I was impressed. I don't remember the last time Rich.
You need to have Rich out here to give the side.
Oh, he's commenting already.
Okay.
Yeah,
Sorry, John.
Give it a few.
I'm sorry, John. I actually stepped on you. Go ahead.
Very good. I was just making fun of Rich because he kicked my butt pretty hard.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it was a tough game. No, he had a. I think he's played his formation a lot. I threw something together and went out there and said, well, I wonder how this is going to work, and kind of found out. Yeah, I would not run 4 artillery units. Um, yeah, for Soviets, just dismal, just pretty pathetic. Because if I think Soviet military, one of the things I think of is artillery, just laying waste the land in front, and then they go. That is not the case here, just because you can't range in, and because everyone's so mobile. I mean, there's no reason to say, "Oh, hell, I'm being ranged in on. I'm just going to move." Hey, roll that 6 now. They're, artillery boy. You know,
That's why I like bringing my Israelis with the Pariah guns. I just sit there and shoot artillery all day long, and then it makes it even harder to take out infantry. But I don't know. I think you have to take, if you want to take the TOS, you have to take another artillery just to have the observer. That's one bad. So that makes me question if it's really worth the 10 points, because you might get your first turn and you might get lucky another turn if you range in. But as soon as you range in, they're going to move out of that template because nobody wants to stay underneath that template more than one turn.
yeah. Just for the record, so the TOS is anti-tank two,
Yep, two.
two, brutal. So if you range in the first time, it's automatically brutal. Then it really doesn't matter after that. But it's an auto firepower, and
Yeah.
and it's a whole salvo tempo. So you're going to hit something, you know. Um, yeah, it's glorious when it lands, and it's very disappointing when it does not. Um, well, it's true. I think he actually played 2 Soviet opponents with his Marines. Um, anyway, okay. So you went to another tournament, but you didn't play this
Well,
past weekend, right?
yeah, I didn't play any, but I didn't play Soviets, but everybody I played was playing with Soviets because it was a strict red versus blue, and everybody there did not bring the upgraded RPG, which I was kind of surprised, and I recommended it to them, and they didn't know that it was a 2+ firepower. But once I told them it was a 2+ firepower, they were like, "Oh, well, that seems worth it."
Yeah, and
And if you're playing against another Soviet player, it gets rid of the T-80's upgrade ERA armor. So instead of them being a 16 to the side, they're a 10. So there's no saving it once you hit them on the side.
well, the thing is, why would they create a weapon that only is good against their own stuff?
Originally, when I read it, I'm like, oh, so that means goodbye Charbon armor, but it says only the Tandem Warhead is only good against ERA armor. So like my Israelis have ERA armor, so like my Merkava is not gonna be saved against that, and anybody else who has ERA armor is gonna have a hard time. But most of that, it's only Soviets that I can think off the top of my head.
Yeah, stat wise, it's well, the normal RPG 7 is a range 12. The VR is 8, so it's a little bit more narrow. Uh, they all have the same stats notes: assault 6, heat, slow firing, but the VR has the tandem warhead, which we were just John was just saying, which really is only really good against um,
So
tanks. And then if it's a NATO tank with the Char,
chop them.
what's an Abrams side? 16?
With against heat, it's a 16 against heat. So
So
you're rolling a 19 against a 16. So 1 and 2 you penetrate, and you have a 2+ firepower. So it's,
better than nothing.
and on a 3 you bail them out at least. So it's doesn't make them as deadly an assault. So you got a 50% chance of knocking the tank out.
which which is like the T20, the T80, which is I have a chance to save, so it ain't so bad. Now, so who was your last opponent in that tournament?
I played him before, but I couldn't tell you his name. But he ran an Air Afghanistan with T62 formation, and I wasn't ready for that one. But yeah, he had 12 Hinds, about 15 tanks, 16 tanks with the HQ, and he had two medium-sized infantry squads. But he didn't, and that was the thing that I made him learn is that if he had the upgraded RPGs, he could have stopped my Merkavas from assaulting him and pushing him back because he could have easily killed those with just one hit.
Okay, and then this past weekend you played.
Yeah, I played against Tom Burgess, and he had that what I would recommend the BMP formation where he had a mix of BMP2s and BMP3s, and he had the recon BMP3s, and he had a whole bunch of BMP3s, and he had the four T80s, and those were really hard to deal with because he had so much stuff that I couldn't deal with everything, and I was trying to throw enough stuff at the T80s to stop them, and they ended up getting completely behind me, and that's the only way I got him was I had one Merkava left, and I took two out, but then he took everything else I had out, and then he assaulted me with them, and of course I had nothing to stop their assault. That you go with the 16 against heat, so it's hard to deal with them. And because I was trying to deal with them, I didn't have time to deal with any of his other BMPs, and he was rolling a lot of sixes to kill my stuff too. So it's kind of hard to deal with them. I would recommend taking the T80s with the BMP formation.
Makes sense. Yeah, that's what I'm planning to do.
And then his boss was also ranged in on 6 too, and they took out an entire platoon almost. So like when you get them range in, they're deadly. It's just getting them the range in that's the hard part.
So this is what you saw.
Yeah, like turn 1, I just saw like whole salvo coming in, took out an entire platoon, and turn 1, I was like, oh, that's gonna be deadly.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. It's glorious when it works, you know. What for people who want to do Soviets, what would you recommend?
Well, if they already have if they already have Soviets that they bought, I would recommend doing a BMP formation. If they're just looking to get into Soviets, I'd recommend doing the T80, the shock formation, just to build up. But I wouldn't recommend doing anything but else attacking with that formation. And if as you slowly build up, move from the T80 shock to the T80s because you can get that the starter set for really cheap, and that gives you almost an entire formation for either the shock or the other T80s depending on how many you buy.
Mm-hmm.
And as you get into the Soviets, I'd recommend getting into the BMP3 because I think that's where your most bang for your buck is going to be. If you're trying to stay within a budget, I would recommend the BMP3 formation.
Yeah, that's a good idea. I mean, you don't have to go big. I play the smallest BMP, two or one, two or three. Um, it's enough ish. Come to think about it, I don't think I ever lost a platoon of.
Yeah, medium-sized platoon, you have 10 or 11, BMPs, and you're usually not going to lose all of them. You lose a few, guaranteed, but you're not going to lose all of them for the most part.
Yeah, I mean, it's got 4 AK-47s, 3 RPG-17s, which you could bump up, and a base of 4 BMP, twos or threes, and then you add. By the way, I always add the AA, the Gremlin. It's just
Yep.
another AA asset out there, and it also adds another BMP2. And if you want to do the grenade, another 2 points. But yeah, because it's a big jump when you go to the middle, 8 to 18, or what's the BMP3s?
They're 2 points more than the BMP2, so it'd be 20 points, I believe.
Yeah, well, it's 10. Yeah, 10 for the smallest, and 22 for the medium. And if you really want to go large, with 12 BMPs base, that's 30 points. I mean, geez, you know, geez. Yeah. When's the next Team Yankee event in your area?
Let me pull up my calendar.
Why he does that? Think about that. If you like this content, we're on YouTube, we're on Facebook, obviously here, and also I'm trying. What is it? Twitch? What the hell is it called? Yeah, Twitch. And trying that for the first time and see if that anyone cast the line in there and see if everyone bites. But subscribe, like, become a member. That way when we have this stuff, you'll get notified. You can come on in, and also remember the idea is that you can post your questions and it's interactive. That's the idea. If you have questions, we're here to answer them the best as we can. We'll look it up. We'll try to get it all straightened out. I'll admit Team Yankee's not my strong suit. I'm just glad the rules are similar to Flames of War. Though I guess it'd be kind of like an umpire, baseball versus softball.
Yeah.
There's some differences. Yeah. Just gotta know what the differences are. Like in Little League, there's no drop third strike. In girls Little League softball, there's a drop third strike.
Okay.
Yep.
Yep. My next Team Yankee tournament is going to be March 27th.
Yeah. Okay, March. I think what we got going on. I know we have a Flames of War. Well, okay. This weekend I am actually going to Alabama, so I'm going to Huntsville, and I will be seeing Scott down there. Ann does not travel with me. I do not torture her with these things. That's the.
That was not torture.
Hold on. Well, first of all, John, your gal friend there,
Yeah.
she plays. Let's talk about that. Okay, so at your tournament, she jumps in and plays.
Yep.
You post a picture. What ended up happening? Tell us the story. What happened after you posted a picture?
Well, within me posting it, within 30 minutes, I had almost 150 likes, and after like total of 3 days, it was up to almost it was like 279. She had 279 likes and about 49 comments. So she's pretty proud of herself there.
Yeah. So what do you think the common denominator for all those likes and posts are?
Probably the hair.
Oh, it's the hair.
Yeah.
Is
I just think
They were just impressed that you won a game in the tournament here.
I won 2.
My bad. She won 2 games in the tournament.
How many points did she end up with of the day?
She's tied with 8th for everybody, or tied for 4th with all of the other 8. That's who I was missing this first.
Oh, okay. So yeah. Oh, okay. At least she didn't beat me. We're tied. Yeah, I went 8, 3, and 3. Yay. I don't know. No. So the question is, does Ann come out on these excursions? the answer is no, because as you probably guessed, she's a very busy woman herself. So, um,
I often have things going on at the same time. In fact, this coming weekend I have to sing a wedding.
so
So yeah.
yeah. So she's been hired to sing a wedding. So um, she's got that going on. So that's generally what goes on. Though I do. Maybe when Ray goes to college, which is in 18 months or something like that, maybe when like Las Vegas Open, I'll bring her down or something like that. We can get a little bit more freer. Um,
If someone
so
does have to stick around.
well, there's that too. You can't let a 17-year-old to his own devices. Bah, bah, bah. Um, hey, Dad. Yeah. You remember said you didn't want anything involved the fire department? Well, yeah, the fire department. Yeah, no, it's so, but no, I mean, probably at some point. Yeah, like I know Rich brings his lovely wife comes out. But yeah, if it's one of those places where you have entertainment, that's like, one of those things. If we went to Vegas and other guys brought their significant others with them, while we play, the gals can go off and do. What would you do in Vegas? You know? Oh wow, look at me. Okay. Does it involve two Disney characters?
No.
No, that does involve Chip and Dale.
No.
Okay. Anyway, but it might involve go see a Broadway show or something.
Honestly, she might gamble all my money.
Gamble all your money away. Yeah.
I'm not really interested in gambling. I probably would go see a show.
Oh, okay. So here's the question. Anne, are you are you going to Gen Con?
If it happens, yes.
Yeah.
I should probably sign up and try to get a table.
Yeah. One of the things, if she does go to that, you probably would try to be selling your book.
Yeah, I would try to. Which reminds me, I should probably look at their site and see if I can get get a table.
Or see if you can buddy up with somebody.
Yeah, buddy up with someone.
By the way, little story time. Anne and I met at Gen Con.
Yes, we did.
1993.
Was it that? I think it was earlier than that.
92?
Maybe.
Yeah, no, I think it's 93.
Okay.
Yeah, 93. Yeah, 1993. Anne worked for Mayfair Games. So basically, right out of college, you worked for Mayfair Games, and Anne was the assistant editor for the DC Hero role-playing game. And I was a gaming nerd whose buddy, my buddy Glenn, ran the miniatures hall for Gen Con. So, and by the way, way different back then than now. The miniatures hall was huge. You remember the Minas Tirith game?
Yeah.
The Minas Tirith game had so many lead figures and stuff that it was just once again a Cecil DeMille film, but it was so large. And what they did is that game constantly played for pretty much 24 hours a day. So you would play 4 hours, stop, and the next group would come in and pick up where you left off. Okay? And, Jonathan said he wasn't born until 94. But,
oh my gosh.
so a little lesson here for you whippersnappers. But yeah, so Ann and I met
I
at.
thought it was earlier than 93, but I could be wrong.
No, my dad passed in '94.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, that's sorry. I don't want to drag it down, but
You remember it by a big, yeah.
Yeah. So I remember that. So, should I tell the story?
You can.
Okay. So I don't. Hey, you know what today is? Today is Embarrass My Wife Day. So Ann's birthday is always around Gen Con, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
It's usually right in there, Now they moved it a little bit earlier, but always before it was right around her birthday. And now a mutual friend of ours, Valerie, was trying to hook us up, introduce us, right? And which is all fine and dandy, but so you were going to be at a TSR party.
Yeah.
Now TSR was the original company that did Dungeons and Dragons.
Dungeons and Dragons. It was huge, yeah.
Yeah. They eventually got bought out by Wizards of the Coast. Anyway, so they were going to be there. Valerie was going to get us in. She also works for Mayfair Games. She was going to get us in. Plus, the other thing too is since I was a part of the staff, I was, I could go on there. So anyway, she was going to introduce us. So we're heading into this party, and but Anne was coming out, but not of her own free will. She was in a fireman's carry. About some guy drunk picked her up in his fireman's carry, and she was madder than a wet hen. And that guy had a little too much to drink. And Valerie goes, "Oh, that's Anne." Right? And I could see that she was upset. So guess what I did? I told that guy to put her down. In a, I would say,
authoritative manner.
Authoritative manner, yes. Yeah. In authoritative manner. He did, and he slinked off. And Anne goes, Valerie goes, "Anne, this is Joe." And she says, "That's nice." For the next couple of years, Anne wanted nothing to do with me. She's like, whatever. Like, nothing to do with me.
I thought I said thank you, but...
Yeah. By the way, you guys take a look behind me. There's my first rule set. Anne had them mounted behind glass, so they're back there. Yes, I'm a knight. But by the way, it took me many years of pursuing before Anne gave in and started dating me. She felt sorry for me. She was like, "Jeez, like a cat fed you once and you just keep coming back and can't get rid of you, All right, fine, I'll keep you." Yeah. You know what they say, John? Man chases woman until she catches him.
Yep.
Yeah. All right.
You didn't try very hard.
Well, I had dress blues for the Marines, so that kind of helped me a little bit.
Oh, a man in uniform.
Yeah. I was here. I had that nice, leather neck, and that's what I did it for. She's shaking her head no, but.
Well, yeah, she won't admit it, but yeah. All right, guys. Well, you know what? Let's play. What did we learn today? That we had a lot of information. We'll do that. We'll wrap it up. What did we learn? And while we're doing that, remember, like us, follow us, so that you can get the notifications and everything for when we do these shows. So, yeah. So, what, Jonathan? Did you learn anything today?
Yeah. Don't take 4 things of artillery.
Yeah, it's a good lesson. Anne, did you learn anything today?
Uh, uh, don't diss the what was the thing that Rich?
Oh, don't diss the artillery.
Diss the artillery. Yeah,
Yeah.
don't diss the artillery.
You can get the horns. Get the bull by the horns. Yeah.
But and also, my husband likes to embarrass me. It's just a couple things.
Oh, well, everyone knows that one. Rich learned that he does not like Russian artillery. Yeah, I guess it's just that one turn. Ba boom, ba boom, ba boom, ba boom.
You killed all my artillery, Rich. What are you talking about?
There's I learned never take more than anything of artillery. Yeah, you got to find that balance if you want that one smoke screen, whatever that's worth. Anyone else out there? What did you learn? Yeah.
Definitely upgrade your RPGs. They're worth it.
Yeah. Yeah. What's a 17 to a 19? That's a big difference.
And your firepower goes from a 5+ to a 2+.
4+ actually. I'm looking at the book. A 4+.
Oh, it's a 4+.
Yeah, the RPG 18s are 14.5. The 7s are 17 to 4. 17.4. All right. So with that, we're planning to be back next week. Just a preview. You know what? Oh, how could I forget? Shoot. I got an answer back on who won the box the platoon prizes. Okay, and so let me do some real quick copy and paste so you can see if your name is in here. Whoops. I'm probably one of the fastest people to do stuff in PowerPoint. And I want to suggest things. And make the font a little bit bigger. Break up the table. Sorry, I'm doing all this in real time. And stop suggesting what things should look like. And I probably should show you guys what I'm doing so that you can see. Let me do it this way. So I'm just trying to get it so that you guys can see. Oh, okay. Bring it up. There we go. Got that. Bring it up. There we go. All right. These are the people that won a platoon box. I'll put this out there too, but so I'm trying to think. Jonathan, are you in here?
Well, I might be in the either Kentucky one or either the Indiana one. I went to 2.
The Indiana one was Justin and Randy. The Kentucky Fretz, Christian, James Best, Tom, Vince.
I know I got one last year. So
Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah. Well, not in here. But anyway, there's the matter of fact, some guys in Hawaii. So there are. Oops. Make this a little bit bigger for everybody. There we go. So you guys can see. I'll put this out there, but this is who won. Um, uh, yeah, this is who won a platoon box. So yeah, get with your local game store and let them know that you're on the list, and they can contact Battlefront and make the arrangements for whatever you are going to get in the platoon box. I think that's the way it works. And yeah, so it's a pretty good thing there. Some guys from Games Plus, Family Times, Great Pursuit, Armchair, Meeple Manor, Level Up Gaming, Wings, Wheels, and Waves. So that's in Ohio.
Yeah, there's two places in Ohio that I've never even heard of.
Hmm. Like the Adventure Begins, that's in Texas. Oh, hey, the one store I'm going to, AJ Atkinson. Um, he won something. Good for him. And Showcase Comics in Pennsylvania. Wonder where that's at. I'll look that up. So there you go. I'll post that by itself, so you guys have it. Who was in the drawing? Yeah, I think they did it, and it just the communication kind of just dropped there. So I made an inquiry, and there you go. All right. So I learned who won a box set. So congratulations to all the winners. Which, by the way, the children are really the winners. Well, John, thank you for coming on and being our SME and sharing your thoughts and wisdom and on these units. We'll be doing some more World War III stuff, especially as the books come out. So as the books come out, we'll be doing more. We got some minor stuff coming out. Oh, you know what I'm really looking forward to is I hope the West Germans really get beefed up because what would be really cool is those really tiny things. Oh, what the weasels? Oh, I want to be like Weasel Boy. I just want a whole team of weasels.
Well, they're giving us Martyr 2s, and Martyr 2s had Chobham armor, so that might be an interesting combination.
Okay. But can it chew gum and walk at the same time?
Well, I don't know. They might give us a. It depends what other options we get with it, because if they keep the way they've been doing it and they give us like the armor with the anti heat, where it might make it playable. I also heard that we're going to be getting the weasels. Where Hard Knocks game? Yes, I was. I was there. You were playing the T80 Shock, Scott, I believe, and I was playing the Israelis. But yeah, I know we're getting the Weasels, we're getting Martyr 2s, the Leopard 2A5, and we're getting the Fallschirmjägers, which I'm really excited about.
Oh, hey, Scott. After you guys play a tournament, do you guys go out for dinner or anything like that? I'm making my dinner arrangements. I'll give him a second, and we'll see if he. There's always a delay. Yeah, I'm making my dinner arrangements. What I'm going to do is like party of one. Yeah. We can. All right. I like because the thing is, I'd like to hear about what you guys are doing there in Alabama. In game wise and swap war stories or AKA dungeon stories. Oh, you know what? I don't know how to take that. You think you could take me? Huh? Think you're man enough? Oh, out for dinner. I gotcha.
Oh, geez.
I'll take you out. All right, enough shenanigans. It's getting late. Anyway, everyone, thank you for watching. John,
Thank you.
thank you for coming in.
Thank you for having
You want to play us out?
Now, what's his girlfriend's name?
John's?
Yeah.
John?
What was the question?
Your fiance.
Fiance. What's her name?
Svetlana Zet.
Sorry, what was that?
Svetlana.
Svetlana. Okay. I
So,
just wanted to say hello and bye.
no, you guys met
I know we did.
at the Team Yankee Masters.
Yes, we did.
Yes.
Yeah, we had a nice spot.
Yep.
All right, so we'll play you out now. I just wanted to say bye to her too.
There you go. Well, thank you for letting him on loan.
All right. Talk to you later.
All right, so go ahead, go play us out.
Okay.
Now, the thing is, I don't know what he's saying, but I know what he's saying. This guy's a really good singer. You know, John, if you go, Scott will also take you out.
All right. Well, I would, but I work this weekend. I won't be able to come. This week, at least.
So,
Good old Ride Army here.
the rowing, the working, you can feel the sweat on his brow. He's working.
They're pulling the boats down.
They pull the boats, they pull the boats.
Russian version of Old Man River.
Yeah. Is he a baritone?
Bass.
Bass? Okay. It's good bass.
Good old Red Army chorus.
That's like how it fills in. How much time's left?
Oh gosh, we got another 2 minutes.
Another 2 minutes. Oh, I think we've done this before, because this is like a crescendo kind of thing going on there.
Well, it ends up with him going back to very quiet again. Shouldn't we say hello now? Cat bouncing.
Okay.
It's quiet.
Yeah. As it goes quiet.
It's fading in the background.
All right. Until next week, everyone. Anyway.
Bye.
I wish I had those pipes. Everyone, have a good one. See you next week. John, thanks.
Thank you.